Okay, good morning and or good day from wherever you are listening or watching this video. My name is Olamide Fallow, and I'm excited to show you how to use Alpine Js, which is a minimal JavaScript framework, really lightweight, and it doesn't suck you in as much as Vue or React, and it's really good, especially when you want to sprinkle a little JavaScript or sprinkle a little magic on your project. Now, what is Alpine? Let's see Alpine, and let's see who created it. So for today, or for this episode, we are going to be looking at just the introduction of Alpine. I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to show you how to install Alpine on your project. Now, usually I work with laravel, but for the sake of this tutorial, we're just gonna use a normal HTML index or HTML. So this is Alpine, lightweight JavaScript framework. This is the link. So we're just gonna look at some features of Alpine. Okay. All right. So Alpine has 15 attributes. It has 6 properties and 2 methods. Okay. Now these are examples of the properties, and also these are examples of these are examples of the attributes, and these are examples of the properties, and these are the 2 methods, store and x data. Apparently alpine.store, alpine.data. So these are the methods and properties. Now you might be thinking that, okay, this is a lot, how do I memorize it? Well, the thing is, I don't think there's any developer or programmer that knows every syntax, every command, method, attribute, except for maybe some magic methods which are universal for some languages. Okay, so I'll just quickly run through some of the what's it called now, the attributes. This is x data. Now what x data does is, this is an example of it. It sets a component, it sets the value of a component, if you're going to use a value for a component. But basically what it does, it defines or it declares an Alpine component at the beginning of your div. Should I say div, or wherever, the place where you want to use it, it defines it there. Now xbind as well here dynamically sets an HTML attributes on an element. It's like xtext here, like xtext. Let's say you want to, assuming you're using, okay, this is an introduction, so I can't really talk about all that, but don't worry, as I explain it to you, as I explain it and show you, you get to understand it. So these are the attributes. X show is to toggle visibility of an element. We're going to do that right now in this introduction, and then you're going to see it. X transition, X8. X init is for initializing, to initialize your JavaScript, or you want to initialize a function, or you want to just initialize something with Alpine, especially maybe it's not coming on when you refresh the page. So you want to say, okay, Alpine, I want you to initialize this thing after this thing has been done, or on start I want you to initialize this. Okay, so what is being done here now, that they are initializing the dates here. Okay, the starting date, basically. I won't use what's the word now, those core terms. Apologies for the noise outside. I won't use those core terms, so you understand me. I am assuming that the people I'm talking to really don't have basic understanding, or don't have that core level understanding of JavaScript, or programming, or I don't know, they've never used Vue before or something. So that's how I'm going to be doing it. Okay. Now xcloak, what it does is it hides a block of HTML until Alpine is finished initializing its content. Okay, so xinit starts it up at the beginning, but xcloak you can hide it. Then xignore, if you use livewire as well, and by the way, Alpine works very well with livewire, and then they're made by the same guy, Caleb Pozio, which I'm going to show you in a bit. Okay, so xignore is let's say for instance you have a JavaScript function running, or you have some other kind of language running that might interfere with Alpine, or I don't know, for some whatever reason you just don't want Alpine to touch that block of code. You get me? You can now put xignore on it and then put whatever you want to do. So what happens is that when Alpine is reading the code, trying to 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 what's it called now, to initiate or to run some functions or some commands, it sees xignore like, oh okay, I won't touch this, I'll leave it. When it comes to xcloak, like, oh okay, no, I'm not supposed to show this, so I cover it. You understand? So that's how these attributes work. Then properties, you have your store. Don't worry, you can check this out. Okay, I'm just gonna, it's just an introduction class. You get me? Dispatch, you have what you can actually dispatch an event. Okay, like see now on click, dispatch notify. So you can actually dispatch an event. You can actually watch or listen for an event. So we'll get to all this. This is for refs. If especially maybe when you are writing raw JavaScript and then you're using Alpine to wrap it up, you can use refs for that to refer to a particular ID on your JavaScript. Let's say let's use that word. Okay, so Alpine is created by, I was supposed to tell you, Caleb Pozio. Let me just show you so you can follow him on GitHub. He created livewire as well. This is Caleb Porter. He created livewire and he created also Alpine Js. So both of them work very well together and they understand each other to the point where you don't really need to use a wire ignore, because there's a method, or is it a property now, wire ignore on livewire. It's almost similar to xignore, so you don't really need to use it when you're using both of them. They understand each other. They know that okay, I'll leave this is livewire thing, I'm gonna leave it, and then livewire is like, oh okay, this is an Alpine thing. Oh, Alpine, I'll let you do your thing. So they work hand in hand together. So you can follow Caleb if you want. It's also on Twitter. Okay, so how do you install Alpine? This is how you install Alpine JS, right? If you use this right here, sorry, if you use this installation right here, this link, because you can use a CDN or you can use npm, you understand, or you can import it. So I use a CDN because it's easier for me to use. So if you use this, it's not going to work. Now the reason why this will not work is because Alpine has gone from version 1 to version 2 to version 3, right? And I think this is version 1. It's still in version 1. Yeah, I think Caleb hasn't noticed it enough to change it. Okay, so this is let's go installation. Yeah, two ways, like I told you: use a script, which is the CDN, or use a model, which is like npm. So this is the script you use here. So all you have to do, you just copy this line of code and then put it just above your closing head tag, which we did. So that's how you do that. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's how you do that. Then as npm, all you have to do is npm install, and then it gets it running. So, but this is what I use. It's simple, and this is it right here. Sorry. So this is it right here. I'm actually using, you notice I'm actually using x.x. So by default, what it does is that it gets me the latest version. It gets me the latest version of um of Alpine XX. Because if you notice here, where is it now? If you notice here, XX, that's what's there. But if you notice here, they have 3.9.1 this week, and then see the notice. It said if you use this, in the provided CDN link, this will pull the latest version of Alpine, which is the Alpine version 3, for stability in production. So it just gets you the latest, unless if you want to get a specific version, then you can use something like this. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you just a few examples. I'm going to show you how to what should we do first now? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do a counter, like an incrementing counter. Like you click it once, it increments. You click another button and it reduces. We're going to show you how to do that with Alpine. So already we're in our div, and let's see now. This is what I want to do. Where's my okay? So this is what I want to do. Yes, I want to have a button here, and then I'll have a number here, and then I have another button here. So if you click on this button, it increases this number. If you click on this button, it reduces this number. Okay, does that make sense? All right, that's what I want to do. That's a simple counter I'm going to do with Alpine. All right. So first of all, let's create our button. So we have our button here. All right. So let's say this is plus, right? I'm just gonna say plus for our button, and then we have, okay, sorry, I have an initiator. You have to, first of all, you have to what's it called, at the beginning you have to first of all declare your component, or I don't know, should I say initialize. Well, basically you have to declare your state. That's your component, your Alpine state. Okay, so you have to declare it at the top, that houses all your Alpine that you're going to use for that specific function or task. Okay, all right. So we do that by saying x data. Okay, we do that by saying x data, and then that's declaring the function now. So we're gonna say x data. We're gonna say what should I use now? Let's say count. I can use something else. We can use a number. No, we can't use a number. We can use what's it called now? Like another word, basically. As long as the words you put here and then the words you're gonna put, you have to. It has to be consistent. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, you can't put one thing here and then go and write something else, yes, because it's going to be looking for this. I'm going to say, oh, I can't find count, so it's not going to work. Okay, all right. So we're going to do count now. We're going to do what we are declaring count now, and we're going to set count by default to 0. Okay, all right. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to show you all this. Don't worry. We're going to do that, and then we're declaring it to 0. Okay, and then here we're going to have our x on. Remember I showed you x on. If you didn't see x on, let me show you x on again, just in case you didn't see it. Okay, installation, no, did I think it was here now. Yep. Okay, so this is x on. Okay, it listens for an event on an element. All right, like your button element, it listens to an event. Okay, so we're going to say now x on what. So we're going to give it a what to listen to. Okay, so we're going to say x on click. It's like JavaScript, but I don't know, if you're not too good with JavaScript, you can just use this one. So anyways, that's why I'm teaching Alpine, right? So x on click. So we're going to say listen for a click event on this element, right? So x on click. So when you click on this element, do something. So what do I want to do? This is it. This is what I'm stating. So I'm saying this now. Set this to this. So remember, we declared it. Well, I think we declared it now up there here. Our data, x data. When we declared open, but it wasn't open. We used count, right? So we declared count. So we said this file here now. Let's assume we're using open, right? So when we click on this button, we want to set open to this. Remember here now, we already set open. Remember here in the example now, they set open to false. They're using a boolean now to do something. They're trying to achieve something, so they're using a boolean, right? So true or false. So they're setting open to false. So now they're not coming back here now to this button and saying on click, when I click on this button, set this open that I've already declared here, this Alpine component that I already declared here, set it to do that. This open now be equals to not open, right? So that's what they are doing. That's what they are doing. But I'm going to show you how to do the counter. It's not counter that they're doing here. So I'm going to show you how to do the counter. So this is X on, this is X data, then X click here. Sorry, X on. Okay, I'll show the X on. Don't click here. But don't worry, as we go, I'll show you more. All right. I'm going to show you more. So this is our button right now. It doesn't do anything. Okay. So we'll go on and we're going to go on. All right. So declare that will now say X on what now? So X on click, just like I showed you. So in other words, when I click on this button, I want you to do something with it. All right. So X on click, then I want you to get this count right here now that I already declared. This count that is, by default now we put it 0. So this count, I want you to increase it, to increment. And in your, if you do use PHP, JavaScript, or maybe you're using laravel or something, double pluses, it's increment. And then if you have double negative, is to decrement in this case. Okay, so we're gonna say when I click on this now, this function here that I already said, that we already declared, I want you to add to it, increment it by 1. That's what we're saying, right? Okay, and then so we're gonna have another button now to decrement or to reduce it. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna add a double negative to it. So we're gonna say now we're gonna reduce this one. All right, so right in the middle now, I want to put the number there. So how do we tie this now? So we already have our data. We already have our data. So how do we tie this count here? How do we show it on the screen, right? Now I'm sure maybe if you were using PHP or something, you want to say, echo. You get me? Or if you're using what's it called now? Laravel, you do something like this, and then you want to declare the variable and say maybe say $show or $count. As if you set it as a variable. You understand? If you declared it already, you want to do something like this to show it, right? Okay, but this is Alpine. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna tie this now. We're gonna tie it to our span. Let's use a span. Forgive me. Let's use a span. We're gonna tie this to our span, and then we're gonna use a property called xtext. So we're gonna tie it. We're gonna tie xtext to it, right? Okay, and then we're gonna say what is the component count. So we're gonna say count. So using this now xtext, we have tied this component here that's been declared 0. We've tied it to this element here. So it's going to show it by default since we already tied it as xtext. So it's kind of like a dynamic way of showing values. Okay. Yeah. So let's see what we have now. Let's see how it is. Okay, see. So now we have it, right? This is a button for increment. This is a button for decrement. Now, will it work right now? Are we done with it? Let's see. We've pretty much done everything that we should do, unless I'm missing something. And if I'm missing something, let me know, okay? I don't like this. Hold on. Let me just. Okay, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Okay. So this is it now. You see, it increments, it decrements, it decrements. I'm sure you can see it because I enlarged it. So increments and it decrements, or it decreases. Sorry, anyone you want to call it. Alright, so that's how you do a count. Now, what if we want to hide or show text? How do we do that? or it's also simple. We can just do this. Yeah, for the sake of this video, I'm going to, what's it called now? I'm going to be using Tailwind CSS. If you don't know Tailwind, you can look it up. It's a utility first CSS framework of CSS library. Now, okay, so back to that, I'm going to show you how to hide and close. Okay, so as usual, we're going to set our data, x data, and we're going to say, what we're going to say now, I don't know. I'm looking for a word. What can we use? What can we use? Um, okay, let's just open. I think open is fine. So we're going to say open, and then we're going to set it to false. We're going to set it to false by default. Okay. All right. Then we're going to have a button to show or not show it. All right. So we have a button, and then we're going to say X on click as we did. Is it? Sorry. X on click. And then we're going to say whatever we click this, set this to this. Right? Okay. So X on click, you're going to set open to I'm going to set open to not open. There's a reason why we're doing not open, so it just makes it a toggle automatically. Okay, because if I set open now, if I can just say open, and then I can just set open to, I can set open to 2 like this. I can set open to 2. So what it does that whenever I click on the button, it shows me what I want it to show me, but it will not hide it. Okay, so that's what okay. You know what? I'm gonna do both of them so you see it. Okay, so let's use a paragraph now, right? And then we're gonna say x show. So this is the content that we want to show, and we've already declared it as open here, right? So we're gonna put open to x show equals to open, and then I'm gonna get some lorem text here. Can I do lorem 30? I don't know. Let's see. Can I do lorem 30? Okay. So we have some lorem text here. Particularly don't like a lot of, I like my codes to be just in as much as, concise as much as I can. I don't like a lot of lines running up all around the place. Okay, so now we have our text, and we set this component now to open. We already declared the component at the top here. We said open equals to false. So by default, you know what, let me hide this. So by default, by default, this component here, this open component, is set to false. So whenever you reload your browser, let me show you. Whenever you reload your browser, it's not going to show by default. Okay, it won't show by default. Sorry, I think I made a mistake somewhere. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh yes, see, I made it true. Abi? Okay, no. There's an error somewhere. Well, see if you can spot the error. I think I might have made a mistake somewhere. Let me see. But yeah, come on, you better than this. Okay, okay. I think I see the issue here. There's a syntax issue. Was it supposed to be this and not what I did? Not an equal to. Okay, I guess you saw that the whole time, didn't you? Okay, so let me know if you like the style of me solving the problems live, or just or not seeing how I debug my problems or something like that. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Okay, so I said it to open now. Let's look at it now. So you see, by default, it's not going to show. Okay. Now notice that it's not going off. That's because of what I did, which I told you earlier on. Right? let me reduce this a little so it's okay. So it's going to show, but anytime I refresh, because by default that component has been set to false, it's not going to show. But if I click on this now, which is that that listens for an event, you understand, that click event. So it listens for that click event and say whenever I click on this, show this component. So that's what's happened now. I click on it, it showed the component. Okay. All right. Then what else am I going to now? Okay, so now what do we want to do now is that I want to make it that whenever I click on the component, it shows me. If I click on, if I whenever I click on the button, it shows me the component. But if I click on the button again, it hides the component. So that's how you do it. So you say open, that's the component open equal to not open. So you click on it first time, it shows you. Click on it again, it goes away. Okay. All right. This is it. So you see, if I click on it the first time, it shows, it goes away. It shows and it goes away. Now, what if I want to say, okay, if I clicked on this now, but I want to just click somewhere again outside and then I want it to go away? There's another way you can do that. Let's leave this one here, but this is how you can also do that. Okay, so we can say X, um, what can we say now? We're listening for X on. Oh, by the way, you can also do this as a shorthand. So instead of saying X on click, right? Instead of saying X on click, no, yeah, sorry. Instead of saying X on click, right? You can just simply do this, which is a shorthand in Alpine that you can use. So you can say at click. So at click is a shorthand for it, right? Okay. So now I'm going to add an attribute to it and say at click dot outside. I'm going to say at click dot outside. So in other words, when I click outside of this, I want it to hide it. So if I click outside of this, what am I doing now? So I'm saying open now. This component, I'm setting open equal to false. So whenever I click outside, it goes back to false. So let's see that real quick. Okay, so I click on it, it's showing now. You can see it. But if I click outside, it hides it. Right? Similarly, if I click this one, it hides it too. If I click outside, it hides it. So that's how you do that. Okay, so this has been an introduction for Alpine Js. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more because there'll be more. I'm going to talk about drop down. I'm going to talk about how you can use models, how you can use accordions, scroll detections on Alpine. Alright, please like, share, and subscribe for more Alpine content. Thank you so much.